poorly thought out change, you know, do this, but it also cause this productivity impact on the organization that amounts to this particular or potential this dollar amount, is what we're able to see.
Okay. So I know you talked about the quick wins at the start of our conversation. And what I'd like to get you to do is talk a bit more about those quick wins in a more detailed way. Tell me a bit about the specific problems that Sharewell has solved for your business. And have there been any metrics, results? What have been the big wins you can attribute to it? Just tell me a little bit about what some of the positive outcomes and results have been compared to what you were sort of seeing before and the problems that were solved.
So I think that so some of the things that we're seeing now is really a push to get every record logged within the system. So before, what happened would be we found ourselves seeing about 40% of the work that our IT force was doing wasn't documented in a request or in an incident or any of those type of things. So there was our inability to fully justify the headcount that we had. So now that we're in Sharewell and now that pushes, every single interaction, every single incident, every single request needs to be logged into the system, we're really now starting to see a holistic picture of some staffing gaps that we have. Now that we're seeing the data within the system, we were to identify that there are some areas in which we don't have the staff necessary to efficiently support the landscape of the organization.
Right.
We're also starting to see that, utilization-wise, that these analysts or these administrators, they can take on a little bit more work. So it's really allowing us to see holistically, make sure that we're getting the most utilization out of our headcount, but also making sure that we're not overutilizing or overtaxing certain individuals, primarily because before we weren't able to really see, other than hearing them say these are things that we're working on, but now we're able to see these are things that they're working on and be able to accurately adjust the expectations and also accurately adjust their responsibilities just to reflect their workload and their utilization.
Okay. Any other big wins, any other metrics, any other things that you can point to that sort of demonstrate the impact of Sharewell on either your team or even the entire organization?
And so the fact that we actually have metrics now is huge for us. We're still implementing reports and such, but just being able to see things happen in the dashboards is relieving for us. We still have to go back and do some of the legwork that should have been done prior to implementation, which is why we're revamping incident management to actually put in place some SLAs and establish some OLAs to make the metrics more meaningful. But to have this data to be able to baseline, we're coming in at roughly 8 months or 9 months of baseline data to really kind of help us tweak the things that we're putting into our processes to make sure that we're successful. And it's also allowing us to see you're performing poorly in these areas. What processes do we need to put in place, or is there a lack of access that has been overlooked? So it's really allowing us to drive those conversations and to make sure that our team has the access that's needed to get the user what they need on first call, or us being able to identify areas that we have some vendor relationships that's causing poor turnaround time for our users. What can we do to shore up that business relationship? Or it's also allow us to see that, hey, this particular carrier, their reliability isn't as great as they said and committed to being. What do we need to do to replace this carrier? So all these things are now available to us within the system without having to comb through a year's worth of email between 6 and 7 to 8 folks to be able to gather that detail. Now it's all been centrally located within Cherwell, so that we can quickly be able to get that information and perform some type of analysis.
Right. I promise not to keep you too much longer, but I do want to sort of run through a couple more things. Specifically for IT, what are the benefits from your perspective, or what have your colleagues been telling you have been the benefits for them of having this in place?
So the biggest benefit is a single system. Prior to Cherwell, we did incident management in Heat, but our change management was done in SharePoint, so was our problems. We kept a list of problems within SharePoint. So we had things kind of spread out. Reporting was done in Excel, in Excel spreadsheets. So now it's a single system that everyone's able to go to for, entering their incidents or entering their change requests, for, entering in those requests